Welcome to Viewing and Reviewing, where I pull older movies off the shelf, watch them, and let you know if I believe they're worth your time to watch or not. I'm Bobby T, your online video store clerk, and I'll be searching through my VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray collection to find titles that I think may be interesting to review. In today's episode, I'll be reviewing 1989's UHF, directed by Jay Levy and starring Weird Al Yankovic, and a whole bunch of other actors that don't mean as much to the film as Weird Al. Let me read you the DVD cover. Weird Al Yankovic, Kevin McCarthy, Michael Richards, David Bowe, Victoria Jackson, and Fran Drescher star in this inspired comedy about an offbeat guy who turns a deadbeat TV station into a raging success. Broadcasting Weird Al's unique brand of humor, UHF is a place you'll want to visit with increasing frequency. George Newman, Weird Al, is a daydreamer whose hyperactive imagination keeps him from holding a steady job, until his uncle hires him to manage Channel 62, a station that's losing money and viewers fast. But when George replaces the station's reruns with bizarre programs like Wheel of Fish and Raul's Wild Kingdom, where poodles fly from third-story windows, ratings begin to soar. Can George find the money he needs to stay on the air? Stay tuned. Well, let's get something straight right now. The DVD's reference to Weird Al's unique brand of humor is dead-on accurate. You're watching the trailer, and that's exactly what you'll be getting in this weird, silly, stupid, and yet charming cult classic. Folks, you will be watching the only feature-length film starring Weird Al Yankovic, he of the 80s parody songs Eat It and Another One Rides the Bus. It's like the 80s PG version of The Three Stooges meets George Carlin. It's creative, dumb, sometimes confusing, yet it's always played for laughs. There isn't a single scene of Shakespearean sonnet to immortality. It's fast, furious, and just as you'd expect, it's funny. Although the story's secondary to all the lunatic fringe television shows Weird Al and company throw onto the nearly bankrupt Channel 62, it's the sheer volume of creativity that makes this worth watching. Yes, there are insane shows like Wheel of Fish, but that's the beauty of this film. It isn't meant to enlighten, it's meant to entertain the low IQ crowd. There are several un-PC references throughout, with Geddy Watanabe playing a not-so-karate instructor, and Michael Richards playing a pre-Seinfeld special needs Kramer with a mop, but it's all forgiven when taken into context. This film was meant to do what Weird Al is so famous for. It's a parody of a bunch of 70s and 80s TV shows and movies. At one point in the trailer, you saw Weird Al puffed up in a muscle suit to play Rambo. Believe it or not, Sylvester Stallone was actually interested in playing the character in that skit, but had a scheduling conflict. That would have been awesome. Part of the joy of watching this DVD are all the unusual Easter eggs and general silliness strewn throughout the experience. At times, Weird Al himself just shows up on screen during the filming of an audience member watching and interacting with the characters on film. It's kind of similar to Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's clever, it's idiotic, and it's perfect for this film. Like I said before, if you're going to watch this film, you gotta know what you're getting into. It's a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. So, my overall report card of the film, it looks like this. Does it stand the test of time? Not really. As corny and comical as this film is, I'll only give it a C+. This is a film of its time, and I will say, had I not known it was filmed in 1989, I would have expected it to be older. Weird Al hasn't really aged well as much as I like him. His parodies are from the 80s. This film parodies shows that don't exist anymore, and the look and feel of the film is very dated. Funny as all get out, yes, but it's built for the audiences of the day and belongs in a time capsule, not as a timeless masterpiece. The story. Well, there really isn't much story. I'll give it a C+ also. A loser dumbass is handed the keys to a failing off cable television station and told he has a week to change the programming and make a profit, or they go bankrupt. Enter a bunch of stupid shows that normal people wouldn't watch, but they become popular for no good reason. The local Powerhouse Network channel feels threatened within a week, and all kinds of sabotage and blackmail become part of the story as a classic David and Goliath story plays on screen. Not original stuff at all, but we're just here for Weird Al, so it's all good. The cast. Surprisingly, this is a pretty good cast. I'll give it a B. Of course, this is all about Weird Al, but he shares the spotlight with some fine comedy talent in Michael Richards, Geddy Watanabe, plus Fran Drescher, Victoria Jackson, and the always menacing Kevin McCarthy, who I understand had so much fun on set that he'd laugh hysterically off camera at all the goofiness happening before his eyes. I'm sure the set was a hoot to be a part of. Cinematography. Well, it knows what it is. I'll give it a C+ because it really isn't much better than average, but it is better than average. It looks, feels, and tastes like a low-budget film meant straight for VHS, but it's a little better than that. The Channel 62 television shows look first-rate, and the filmmakers actually tried doing some special effects, which I give them credit for. The music. Folks, it's Weird Al. I'll give it a B. You either love it or you don't. I tend to like him more than I love him, but I also give credit for cleverness since I don't seem to have any. To be honest, most of the film's music is not really that memorable. However, there was a dream sequence where Weird Al becomes the lead singer of a bonkers parody of Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, with actual Dire Straits band members recreating their iconic MTV-era music video, so there is bonus points for creativity. Plus, the final credit rolling montage is actually quite fun and toe-tapping. So, based on the above scores, and taking into account the audience that will actually be watching this film know what they're getting into, I'll give this film a C+ rating. This isn't meant to be a disrespectful or mean. I'm just being honest for what this film is today. If you love Weird Al, you'll rate it higher. But in good conscience, I can't rate it any higher since it really isn't that great of a film in the grand scheme. It's kitschy, offensive, and meant to be all forms of cheese. But when it hits, it is humorous. It was much funnier back in 1989 when we were all drunken frat kids in college laughing at a cornball and an accordion, but that ship unfortunately has sailed. Watch the DVD for all the surprise Easter eggs and enjoy it for what it really is. Or was. It's a funny movie for those folks out there who love Weird Al, the Three Stooges, and are drunk as a skunk waiting to just laugh at some boobs on screen that aren't naked or intelligent. But it's a cult classic for a reason, and it deserves to be remembered for its star burning bright for just a few moments back in the day. Well done, Weird Al, you're a classic. So, here are a few other recommendations along the same line. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The directorial debut of Tim Burton, so you know weird is expected. Paul Reubens plays the man-boy Pee-wee, who has his treasured bicycle stolen. So he sets off on a cross-country trip to track down his beloved bike while meeting up with all kinds of wacky characters we wouldn't normally see outside of a deranged National Lampoon magazine for children. Stay tuned, which I'll be reviewing on this channel in the near future. This is actually a good comedy about irreverent television shows where John Ritter and Pam Dauber are sucked into satanic television and made to run and act for their lives over 24 hours while lead hellion Spike and his sadistic minions try to literally kill the actors before they reach the end, or else. It's also the last hilarious cartoon done by legendary Looney Tunes cartoonist Chuck Jones that deserves to be seen to be believed. And lastly, Kentucky Fried Movie. What is it about first-time directors that make these nutso vignette films that are so endearing? This is basically a no-holds-barred version, R-rated for a reason, of television programming run amok. There isn't a lot of redeeming value in this film other than it's John Landis's first film before he went on to classics like Animal House. But this film resembles UHF's weird programming well before Weird Al played his accordion professionally. Well, that's it for UHF. If you enjoyed this preview, a review actually, please be sure to click the like button below. If you want to keep up to date on my future reviews, please click on the subscribe button below. If you want to purchase UHF on DVD, or if you wish to purchase any of the other titles I've mentioned earlier, please follow the Amazon links below. If you have any suggestions for movies you'd like me to review, please leave a comment below, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be sure to help others in need, because it's always the right thing to do. Have a great week.